If you think this video is just about a simple hut in the forest, you are wrong. In this video, we are building this entire scene from scratch, and not just the hut. Yes, we'll model the hut step by step using traditional modeling techniques, and then we're going to supercharge it with RailClone by Itoosoft. But here's the twist. The real focus isn't the hut, it is the environment. Those dense, realistic trees, the ground scatter, the natural randomness, the depth, the atmosphere. And we are creating all that using one of the most powerful environment tools in architectural visualization. That's the Forest Park by Itoosoft. This video is your beginner-friendly introduction to both RailClone and Forest Park. And I'll break everything down in a way that is easy to follow, no confusion, no skipped steps. Now here's why this is important. A lot of architectural and visualization firms actually require the knowledge of Forest Park and RailClone before hiring. So instead of waiting until you need it, we're integrating it right here on this channel, so we can grow together and level up your skill the smart way. By the end of this video, you won't just know how to model a hut, you will know how to build a rich production-ready environment that feel alive. All external models I use or very close alternatives are linked in the description, and I've also included the link to download Forest Park and RailClone so you can follow along properly. Now let's get into it.
So first thing I want you to do is head over to the description. Okay, you're going to see the project file there. When you download it and open it, because it's going to be in 3dsmax, when you download it and open it, this is what you're going to see. This is just something for us to trace, to be able to model what we need to model quickly, because I want you to follow along as I'm modeling. Right, so so when you open it, we're here now. The first thing I want you to do is head over to customize, check your unit setup, right? Put it here, change it to millimeters. I like to work in millimeters. That's what I'm used to. Okay. So for the purpose of this video, I suggest you work in millimeters too. Now we're going to open this. Let's ensure that our renderer is Corona, right? Then come back here. If it is not, just come here, drop, hold on a minute. Mine is already set. Drop it, select Corona, and then save as default. That's all you need to do. And then you have set it as Corona, right? So when you open your file, you find out that I've already, if you look here, you're going to see the layers. If you are here, just come over here, click here to make sure you're in layers. So first of all, we're going to, when you drop down this, you're going to see the floor plan and the site. Let me turn off the roof and the section. So when I turn off the site, you're going to see, hold on a minute. Okay. When I turn off this one, you're going to see only the floor plan. I made a mistake in the name, but I'm sure you understand. So I'm going to hit T on my keyboard to put it on plan mode, right? So you can leave it on both of them. It doesn't matter. This is the one we're going to be tracing. Then later we're going to work with this part. So another thing I want us to do is set up our snap toggle, right? When you click this and you hold it, it's going to drop down. Put it in 2.5 for now. And then right click on it. Make sure you select these four things that I'm selecting here: the vertex, the endpoint, the edge, segment, and then the midpoint. Now come over here in the option, turn on this enable axis constraint. That is going to enable you work, right? If it is not on, you cannot, constrain your movement, the work you're doing in 3dsmax to one axis. And it's very difficult to work in 3dsmax if you cannot do that, right? So, I think, that is enough of housekeeping. Let's get into the video proper. So hit G on your keyboard to get rid of the grid so we can be seeing exactly what it is that we are working with. As you can see, this is it. We're going to start with a plane. So I'm going to select this plane. I'm going to hit S on my keyboard. X toggles this on. So S, when you look beside this thing, you're going to see S. That's the shortcut, right? Here, you're going to see A. That's the shortcut. So the ones that has shortcuts will be having the shortcut in bracket beside them. You can see W is the shortcut for move, select and move. All right, now select and rotate is E. So S on your keyboard to toggle on this. So if you are hitting S, it will be toggling on and off, right? So we're going to use this first one, not the outside one, the inside one, right? So, and then we're going to stop it here. Let's remove all the segments. Come over here, the lens segment, put it to 1. This one, put it to 1. Okay, so yeah. I'm going to right click with it selected, right? If you mistakenly deselected yours, right? F3 on your keyboard is going to change it to default shading mode so you can select it easily. Now you right click, convert to editable poly. Now in editable poly, when you convert any object to editable poly, right, you can select that object through 5 means. Okay, you can select it through vertex. You can select and move it around. You can see selection. You can see vertex mode. When you set vertex mode, it is going to add points. Let me put this in 3D mode. Let me turn this thing off for you. You can be seeing it. Let me put it in wireframe mode. You can see the points active. So if I select the point, I am selecting the point. No matter what I do, it's just those points that I will be able to select. Now, when I put it in edge selection mode, I can select edges. These are the edges, the edge of the box, as you can see. If I put it in border, for border is the entire, to explain what border is, I think I will just need to, do a box, right? So I'm going to convert it to editable poly. Okay, so let's say I select this face. Let me put it in default shading so you will see what I'm doing. I select this face and I delete it. Right? If I come here, I can select this as edge. But when you're talking about border, you're talking about the entire extremities of this. So if I select this place, instead of selecting only one, it will select the entire border of this box that is open. Right? So if I don't have that open part, you will notice that I will still be able to select edges. Can you see? I just selected this edge now. I will still be able to select edges, but there is no border for me to select. Right? Because there's no open part of this box. So the border is the edge of an open, like the edge of an object that is open. So you can select it and cap it. So that is how edge is different from the border, right? So let's get back to what we're doing. So the other one there is polygon. Polygon are like faces, right? They are faces. As you can see, you can select faces with this. Now this element is, now you would think it is just a face, but it is not really the face. Element is, let me just use something else to explain it. And let me use teapot. Right. Now I'm going to convert it to editable poly. Right. So you can see what face is. Let me bring out the mesh, the edges, so you will see. Okay. Edged face. So you can see what faces are, but element is not just like a face. It's the entire body that is adjoined to something else. This is an element. This is an element. This is an element. So when they are modeling these teapots, it shows that when the way these teapots, came to being is that they model this bold part, right? Model this, whatever code that they wrote that you can just draw it once and it come out. But if you are modeling this thing, this part was modeled separately, and this part was modeled separately. This part was modeled separately, and this was. All right, so that's the difference between that and that. So the reason why I want to take my time to explain this thing properly is because most of the modeling we are going to do is going to, the knowledge of this is very important, right? So I hit T on my keyboard to realign this. Okay, so with this selected, I'm going to come over here and select the edge selection. Now, something else I want you to note. All these 5 selection mode that we have here, it has a shortcut on the keyboard. You see the numbers above your alphabet on your keyboard, that's the shortcut. So if you hit 1, you can see the vertex is selected. Hit 2, edge, 3, border, 4, polygon, 5 elements, right? So each time I want to select the edge, I'm just going to hit 2 on my keyboard. It is going to just select it for me, right? So that's what I'm going to do. Select that, right? So I'm going to hold down shift, right? You hold down shift is going to create a duplicate polygon for you. If I just move it like this, it's going to move the polygon around, right? It's going to move the edge. In so doing, make the polygon bigger. That's not what I want. I want to create another edge. And another face, another point. Like, let me just show you what I mean by that. Let me hide that stuff. I just isolated. I hit this button to isolate. You can hit Alt Q on your keyboard. That is also going to isolate. Right? Remember, the shortcut is 2. So I'm going to hit 2. It is going to put me in the edge selection mode. So if I hold down shift now, if I hold down shift and drag, you can see the edge that we had there is still there. And we just created another edge. right? So that's what I want us to be doing. That's how we're going to model that building, right? So I'm going to, assuming I didn't do that now and I just move it, you can see there's no edge here, right? So let's get to it. I'm just going to click this again to bring back the what is it called again? The plan that we are tracing. So I'm going to hold down shift and I'm going to drag it to this place. Sorry, let me turn on my toggle. I turned it off when I was explaining. So make sure your snap toggle is on. And then you drag it to this point here. So what we're going to be doing is we'll drag it to a point, let's say an intersection where we have an intersection. That's number one. Number two, where we have an opening. So once we come across a place like this, we're going to stop there and then hold shift again, create another one. Come over here. We have an opening here. We'll do like this. And then we'll also do like this. Okay. Just like that. Now we have an intersection. So we're going to stop there. Like that. And then like this. Another one. Like that. So just like that, we're going to finish the remaining ones. Right. All right, we don't have any window there. I don't know what that is. But we're just going to ignore that. So when I have got into this point, right, we have successfully traced it. This is a very simple building, as you can see. We have successfully traced it. So the next thing I want us to do is to turn on our section because this is what is going to help us for this next phase. All right? So, yeah. I am going to now hit 4 on the keyboard so I can select all this polygon. Come down here and clear all the materials. Because sometimes when you don't do this thing I just did now, it is going to create artifact for you in your models when you give it a third dimension. Because now we're still working in 2D, right? So just do this and then select this, and then come over here to your modify tab. I already have buttons here. Right, these buttons, they don't come if you have not been using 3dsmax, if you have not been following my tutorials, you may not have these buttons right here. Right, this button, they don't come. If you want to turn on your own button, you click here, you see show buttons, you click it. If I click it again, it will disappear. Right, so click on the show buttons, and then you can click here to configure buttons. You can set the number of buttons you want in here, then search for what you want to put. Then you can just drag it and drop. Let me add 2 more. I don't need it, but let me just, for the purpose of what we're doing, hit enter to create. So I'm just going to let me put noise. Just quickly type it. It's going to come out noise. Then what else can I put? What else can I put? Mesh. Let me see. Mesh put. Sorry. Oh, let's see, topology. Let's put topology. So when I say okay now, it will add it for me over there. It's just as simple as that. So you set up yours. Then what I want to do now is, if you can't do that, if you don't have time to do that, you can just still come here, drop this down and quickly type shell. It's going to come out. It's still the same thing. This is the same as that. So what I want to do is give it a third dimension, right? So the outer amount, let's just do to 8 is in meters. Hold on a minute. I thought I changed this to millimeters. Okay. So let me now do it again. Now for the outer amount, please, I just realized that I left this at meters. Please, if yours is left at meters, change it to millimeters, please. It's very important that you do that. Okay? For the purpose of what we are doing. Right? So let me just come over here and type into 8. Okay? It still works. The reason why I did that, I'm aware that this building actually got up to this point. But we're not going to take it all the way. In fact, I think let's see what does 3 meters look like. Okay, 3 meters is fine.
Okay, because this building is a gable roofed building and we need to do some things over here. In my experience, modeling it like this and then doing another part that will go all the way to the roof now is the best way, because to create opening and also get this gable easily, this is the best way I know to do it, right? So let's just go ahead and do this. Now it's time for us to create the openings. So I'm just going to keep it here. We have a section and we can see the height of the windows and then the doors. Right, so I'm going to hit F3 on the keyboard to put it in wireframe mode, right? We have added this shell. The next thing I want us to do is convert it again to editable poly. Now, when we do that, select the S selection. With using the X selection mode, select all the edges, right? Come over here, you see connect. Click on it. When you click on it, you move this. It is going to create like a swift loop for you all over the building. Make sure that your snap toggle is on. You put it on the top of this window. Let's do it again so we can get the bottom of the window, right? So connect. Do it for the bottom now. Okay. I think that's it. Yeah, that's the bottom. Right. So what I want us to do is to create this opening. We have an opening here and we have an opening there. You can see where the opening are on the ground floor plan. We have here and we have here. This is where the door is, right? So what we are going to do now is to turn off the snap toggle and then position the building properly the way it is going to be easy for you. Hold down shift, drag it towards the direction. It is going to cut an opening for you. Now we have our windows and door opening. Now for here, I'm going to do the same thing to create that opening there. Okay, now that we are done modeling this part, it's time for us to model this top part of the building so we can roof this building very quickly. So let me just hit T on my keyboard. Now I'm going to use a box, right? We're not going to use plain the way we did it the last time. Make sure that your snap toggle is on. Hold on a minute. Okay. What just happened? So click, hold, drag it to this end, then release it. Raise your hand and then click again. It doesn't really matter the height because we're going to be adjusting it into position shortly. So I'm going to right click, convert to editable poly. Right, I'm going to use the vertex to bring it down this time around. I'm going to turn off the snap toggle. It's not that important. Okay. Right, so I'm going to take this to this top part. Okay. Let me just select this bottom part and delete it. We don't need it. What I want us to do is come over here, hit the connect, stop it here. The same thing over here, connect, stop it over there. Right? Yeah, I think that's okay now. So I'm going to come in here. This top part, I'm going to connect it. See, I'm selecting the top part. You can see the connect. I connected the middle of the top. So with this selected, with that edge selected, all right, let me just turn off the snap toggle. I am going to drag it up. Let me just leave it there for now. Now I'm going to hit one on my keyboard to select this vertex. I want to move this up. You can see that it's not aligned, so I'll move it up. It doesn't have to really be accurate. So far you have passed, this area. Okay, it's all going to be in the roof when we create it. So just let's reduce it a little bit. So yeah, that's it. So when I turn on the default shading mode, this is what we're going to be having. So what I'm going to do now is select this top part and delete all of them. So yeah, let's do that. So I'll select this, select that, select, and then select this, and then delete. Right? So I've created this part. Now what I want to do is go ahead and create, add thickness, because you can see we have thickness here, but we don't have for this. Let me turn this to clear mode. You can see we have
thickness here, but we don't have. So to add that thickness, I'm just going to add the shell modifier. When you add your shell modifier, ensure that it's 225 on the inner amount, right? So do that. Okay. So you can see that stuff that we added enabled us to have this thing. Assuming we didn't add those, additional edges around those places, around those areas, we are not going to have this thing. It is going to be an issue that will take a lot of time to solve. So now that we have done this thing, what I want us to do is attach. You can see they are joined, but to attach them, to make them one element, you just select one of them, right? Let me convert editable poly first of all. Then we'll click on this attach and click here. So both of them are now one element, as you can see. As you can see. So it's time for us to model the roof. Let's quickly do that. So I'm going to turn on the roof. Let's turn off the plan for a bit. Okay, so yeah, we're going to model half of it and then mirror it to the other part. So to do that, I'm going to use a box. Let's just use a box. It can be whatever, but let's use a box. It can be a line, it can be a plane. A box still works just fine. Like I said, it's never about the thickness. We'll always adjust that later. Let me turn on the section so we can see. Sorry about that. So we can see where we are in the grand scheme of things. Okay. Let me just take it up to this height. You can see it's bigger. We need it to start from this point and end here. So 225, the height that we have now is not okay. So let's try 250. Let's just do it like this till we get it. Oh, I think 270 is fine. Let's do 275. No, it doesn't have to be exact. This is still okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply this modifier here, FFD222. You can search it. The same. So when you apply it, drop it down, select the control point, and then drag it down. Just use your eyeball, try to get it as accurately as you can. It doesn't really matter. This thing, when we render it, it's not going to be obvious. It's not going to be that obvious that it is not aligned. So it's 3D that we're doing, right? So when I come over here, you're going to see that part of the roof is already there. Right? So we're going to leave it there for now. In fact, let's just convert editable poly. When you do that, it becomes the permanent position. So I'm going to flip it. You can see mirror. I'm going to mirror it on the x-axis. But then I'm not just going to do this and then say, okay, I will click on copy. When you do the copy, it is going to add copy for you while leaving the other one. As you can see, the other one is still there. So now I'm going to move this into position. Turn on your snap toggle and snap it into place. Now we are having the roofs. Turn off all this. You can see building is taking shape. Okay, we are still going to add details. We're going to add windows and doors. We're going to add roofs. Both the roof and then the hips. What is it called again? The ridges, the edges of the roof. You understand? We're going to add those things using a very powerful tool. We're going to use RailClone to do that. Right? So I'm going to be showing you how you can use RailClone to do these things. Right? RailClone, Forest Park, these are tools now that are being required by firms overseas, firms in Dubai, firms in USA, in Europe. Sometimes you see when they are, in the requirement of what it will take to employ somebody, right? They are going to put it in there that the person must know how to use RailClone, extensive knowledge of RailClone. That is why I say, okay, let me just start integrating it into this video so you can actually come and get the knowledge, right? All right, so let's move on. The next thing I want us to do now is to model the site. It's going to be very easy. So we're going to do that. Let me just hit T to align it like this. Then F3. Right, so it's not the side. We're going to model the base of the building, right? It's still part of the building. So I'm going to use box. Doesn't really matter. I'm going to stop this one here. And I'm going to do another. I'm going to do another one. here. So we have two boxes rather. For us to be able to place it properly, I will need to see the section. So when you see the section, see where the first one is, you see where the second one is. So I'm just going to select this. This is a negative height. Okay. So I'm going to make it 150. Not minus 150, 150. Okay. Then I'm going to move it up to this position. Let's make this 152. Exactly. So I'm going to right click, convert to editable poly, hit one on my keyboard to enter vertex mode. I'll move this to this position and then take this all the way. Hold on. I think I selected everything there. Just this is what I needed to select. All the way back. I'm going to do the same thing for this one. I'm going to right click, convert editable poly, and then take this one all the way back. All right. Now it is time for me to spread this to get to the end. Same here too. Good. Exactly. That's exactly what I want. Now, when I turn this to default selection, you find out that we have two surfaces here fighting for the one that will be on top, right? So how do we solve this problem? How do we make this thing go away? Is either we select this and raise it up, which I don't want to do, or we make modifications to this box right here. And that is what I want us to do. So I'm going to go to the top view, put it in wire selection mode, and I'm going to, with it selected, wireframe mode, I'm going to connect this and then bring it to this place, right? Now, when I do that, I can now come over here, select this part, okay, and then shift it in. And I will do that by just holding down shift and then moving it in. As you can see, it is moving in or out, right? So I'm not going to do it on this view. I just wanted to show you what exactly I'm talking about. It is better to do it on plan view. So I'm going to turn this on, hold down shift, and then move it in, right? I'm going to select this part. The same thing I'm going to do here. Hold down shift, move it in. The same thing, do it here. Go to the top view, hold down shift, move it in. All right? So as you can see, it's all there now. So I'm going to do the same thing for the one underneath. All right? So I'm going to hit 2 on my keyboard, select the edge, connect it, bring it out here. Then hit 2 again on the hit 4 now for the polygon selection. Select this place. You know how we do. Hold down shift, move it in. Same here. Hold down shift, move it in. Then same here. I like modeling like this in 3dsmax. If not that I'm trying to explain what I'm doing before I even do them, this would have been over long time ago, right? Yeah, and I'm also looking for a very easy way of doing things so you can also follow. So we have modeled the building. As you can see, this is the building. Let's add this stuff right here. You know, we have the what do you call it now? Flower bed around this building. So let's just go ahead and add it. Okay, so let's go. I'm going to use plane. Can use box, but let's use plane to do this. Right click. Make sure that you don't have any segment in that box, as you can see. So right click, convert to editable poly. I'm going to use for starters. I'm going to use vertex selection. You know, get them to where they need to be. Then I'm going to switch to edge selection mode, just like we did when we are modeling the what do you call it again? The walls of the building. So I hold down shift. I actually forgot to hold down shift. That's why that happened. Always hold down shift when you want to make the next move. Okay, so top. Let me just get it to that face. Now that's something else. We're going to add that one shortly too. So, but for now, let's do this. As we have finished tracing this out like we did, we're going to add a shear modifier to add thickness to it to raise it up. So we're going to add this one. As you can see, it's going down. So we're going to take this off. Add 0 there. Make it 150. So it's the same height as the first staircase. That's the way we want it. So I'm going to mirror this. You can use offset to move it apart, away, and then say okay, right? Something like that. That works. Or you can just leave it there and move it manually to where you need it to be. Especially when after moving it, I still have to come over here and move it in place. When you look here, you're going to see there's this funny color. There's this, like a shadow that you're having here. This is exactly what I was trying to initially when we model wall. I told you that if you don't go in the material cell and that material place, wait, hold on. I told you if you do not come over here, use polygon smoothing groups and all that. If you don't come over here to adjust this to clear all, you will have something like that. Now let's not clear it. I want you to notice it. So when we come back in here, select this polygon, go down there and then clear it. And when we come back, you can see that shadow is not there again. Okay. It also, it's not good for your material when you are applying material. So that's why it is very important that when you do this, get rid of that stuff before you go further. I forgot to clear it. And it's even good that I forgot to clear it. So now I can show you what happens when the more complicated that, model is, the more artifact it's going to have, the more shadows. You'll be applying materials on those surfaces. It will be, behaving funny. And so you have to adjust all those things. Right now, the next thing I want to do after I've added this is to add the base of this thing, right? You can do that. Like I said, you can do that. You can do that with a plane. You can do whatever you want. Let me do with a plane. I think that will be better for everybody. So I'm going to move it to the end. Then raise it up a little bit. Just a little bit. And I'm going to move this to this side. Copy. Right. I think for this one, I think we might have to let it touch the wall for the sake of this place, right? So I want that place to flush. Right. So the next thing is to add this trim. There's a trim around the building. So add the trim. When you look at the section, you're going to see it. You're going to see this trim over here. We need to add it. So how do we do that? Let's just go to the plan. I go to the plan and add another plane. Hold on a minute. Okay. Right click. Editable poly. What's going on? Good. So the same thing, I am going to do it over here. Well, I don't think the only place we might have to create an opening is when we get to this, the door part. So I'm going to create it as an opening and then we'll continue. Okay. So what I'm going to do very quickly is just, I'm going to come over here where the area we have the door, select the polygon there and delete them. Let me just show you what I just did. Let's isolate it so you see it. Okay. Hit 4 on your keyboard with it selected. You can see, you can select the polygon by that door and delete it. So when you do that, you can now add your shell modifier and add some height to this. But before I do that, always remember, clear this thing. Clear it. Clear all. So let's see. Let's go to the section view and see where what we just created is. Now we need to raise it to the level. Is that the level? I think that, okay, that's the level actually. So it's too high. As you can see, it's too high. Let's see 100. 100 exactly perfect. So there we have it. There we have it. Exactly how it is. But I'm thinking, yeah, I'm thinking maybe we should take it down, right? To start from this area that we have this, flower bed. Like take it, in fact, let it start from ground zero and then get up to that point. So I'm going to do just that. So I'm going to take it all the way. Is that all the way? No, that's not all the way. Oh. Yeah, that's all the way now. So I'm going to right click and editable poly. Select the vertex selection mode. Select only the top part of just the top vertexes. Move it. This is why it is very important that you turn on your axis constraint. Now you can restrict your movement to one direction. Now when you're looking at this, you can see. Okay. Where we are going to be taking this stuff from is actually, from afar off. Okay. If we are going to be taking this photograph, if the shot we're going to be, for the purpose of what we are doing is close, we're actually going to do this part separately and do this top part separately because we need the joining of this place to the floor to give you that, beveled edge. We're still going to add chamfer. So everything that we are doing to give it that realistic, but that's one of the benefits, of having your model done inside 3dsmax, right? Because you can do your model wherever you want. You can do it in Revit, you can do it in SketchUp, but one of the major things you benefit when you do your model over here in 3dsmax is you get to make your model more realistic. And one of the ways you make model more realistic, is those, beveled edges, those little details that you do. They help reflect light better. They help, make the object you are rendering look more realistic. Because there's no object in nature that is exactly 90 degrees, where they are, their edges are exactly 90 degrees. So, have that in mind. So, yeah, I don't think there is something else for us to. Okay, yeah, before I forget, we have this thing coming out of the roof. Okay, if you go to the roof plan, you're going to see the thickness of it. We're going to still put these things where they, for a minute, let's just put it in wireframe mode and add. Okay. Now I'm going to move it up to where it needs to be. 75, 150, 100. Oh my God. 120. Okay. 120 it is. So I'm going to duplicate it. Oh my God. I'm going to duplicate it, bring it down, copy, right? Editable poly. Make sure your snap toggle is on. Snap it to this. Snap it to this. Bring it down. Okay, so I'm going to snap this one to this rooftop. So I'm just going to eyeball this. There's no need trying to, get the exact same stuff we're having here, but let's just use our eyeball. But if you need to get an actual, measurement, you already know how to do it. For us, if you want to make this thing exactly the same size, left and right, you can just scale it like this. Use the scale tool, right? Scale it only on X. Make sure, like when you are only on X axis, you can see the line leading to the X axis is highlighted. So we'll use it, drag it this way. It will come in. And they're on the same stuff, the same size, back and forth. Right. So the next thing I want us to do, it's actually pretty low. As you can see, it's too close to the building. Let's raise it up. Just a little bit, just like that. Okay. So I want to create an opening in it. The way it is now, I want to, because a chimney is not a chimney unless it has an opening where the fire is going to be coming out of. Right? So let's do that. I'll hit 2 on my keyboard to be in edge selection mode. Instead of hitting this stuff, the connect, I'm going to hit the settings, the connect settings, so I can make it 2 at the same time. Use this to widen the gap. This way, I'm sure that the distance from here to the line that I'm creating are exactly the same thing. So 65, okay. Let's see 75. That's okay. Now we're going to create a horizontal line here so we can cut open this stuff. Okay, so because a chimney is not a chimney if it has no opening where the smoke will come out from. Okay, so make sure it's only one, create only one, and then we're going to, let's leave it here for now. Hold down shift, cut it open. As you can see, we have an opening there. Okay. If you need to, we can take it up or down a little bit. I think it's okay like this. Take it up a little bit more. I think like this is okay. Okay, so the next thing I want us to do is to go ahead and create an additional floor, like a tile for this place. So how we're going to do that, the first one, we're going to just, select this, hit 4 on the keyboard to be able to select this surface. Now we're going to detach this thing, but then make sure that detached as clone is checked on. Okay, what that does for you is when you do this stuff, when you do the detaching, it is going to detach it, but then it will like copy that part out for you, right? So it is not going to like create an opening for you. If you don't do it detached as a clone, it is going to, it's going to tear it out while leaving an opening, from where I just store it from. So let's, okay. We're going to create, all right, we're going to select 2, hit 2 on your keyboard. That's the edge selection mode. We're going to select this and then we're going to hit the connect button. And we're going to bring it out. Snap it to this edge. Okay, because we want to create that same stuff. Detach the face, but then want to create that floor tile alone for this front part, not the entire part. So doing this is going to make you, now when I go to polygon select mode, I'm going to select only that external part. Now, when I detach as a clone, it is going to detach only that part for me, as you can see. Can you see? Right. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add thickness to this. Okay. I'm going to go to the section view, as you can see. First of all, I'll select this one and add a shell modifier to it. Okay. 8. Outer amount is 8. And that is exactly what we need. So I'll select this one. Do the same thing to there. Oh, okay. We're just going to leave it as 8. It doesn't really matter. Okay. And we're going to leave it as 8. So I'm just going to pull this out to this edge and then come back here. Everything is fine. So yeah. All right. So as you can see, we are done with the modeling. Now it's time for us to join the roof together. Okay. We did one part and we mirrored it. So to join it, we'll come over here, select attach it together with this one. And that solves that for us. So we have the roof and all the parts of the building. Now, we're just going to, first of all, when you're modeling in 3ds Max, it's very important that you model, create your layers and attach the appropriate, elements in the right layers, right? So that is going to enable you, it's going to make things easier for you when you're working in 3ds Max. You can see how easy it is for me to find this stuff and then toggle them on and off, as you can see. So we're going to do the same thing for the walls, the roof, the chimney, the floors, this side element, this edge trim of the wall. We're going to do that for everything so that while we go ahead to do the remaining part of this project, it's going to be very easy for us. It's good practice to do that. So the first one I'm going to create the roof. So 01 roof. Then I'm going to create the chimney 02. Sorry. I don't want it to be under the roof. So you just drag it out. It's going to take it outside. So now we did this. Click it again. Just delay the clicking by a little bit. It's going to enable you edit. So this is going to be for the chimney. Then we're going to create another one. This one is going to be for the walls. 3 walls. So to add these things to the parts of the, because let's just be doing, I want the one we just hide it. So we know we've done that one. To add this to the layer, because right now everything is still in this 0 default. You can't delete this, mind you. Okay. It's always going to be there. So to put the roof in the roof, first of all, ensure that the roof is active by clicking here. This blue stuff is going to be beside the roof. Then you select the roof, click this. It's going to add it to the roof. Now, if I turn off the roof, you can see it's with the roof now. So do the same for the chimney. Let me turn off this, put it in selection. I'll turn off the chimney so that anything I add inside is going to disappear. That way I know I've done that one. So for the wall, we're going to do the same thing for the wall. We just add it. Okay, so if I add it, it's going to go with it. So I'm going to create a new one. This one I'm going to call it floors. So 04 floors. So I'll select everything and add them. Let me just be hiding it. So as I'm doing that, they're going away. All right. Okay. This is the last one. Okay. So another one I'm going to create the edge trim. I'm going to call it edge trim. Edge trim. Okay. So the next one I'm going to call this 06 site elements. I'll just call it site elements. It doesn't really matter. You can call it whatever you want to call it. Okay, so see. I'm going to take this back to where it belongs. All right, so I'm done adding everything to the group. Now, when you turn something on and it refuses to turn on, just drop it down, go in there. You're going to see it there. And then once you turn it on that time, it is going to always stay on. I don't understand. What's this? Okay. This is not supposed to be part of this. So I'll just take this and I'll put it inside here. Right. Good. So the edge trim is going to be just the edge trim, where the site element is just going to be the site element, as you can see. So yeah, good. So the floor is there, the wall is there, the chimney, as you can see, as I turn it on, it's coming on, the roof is there. So everything is fine. So the next thing I want us to do now that we've added our stuff where we want it to be, hold on a minute. Oh, this part of the floor didn't turn on. So I'm gonna just come in here, turn it on. Right. So everything is where they're supposed to be. The next thing I want to do is go ahead and add detail to this roof. So I'm gonna come here, put this here. So to do this, we're going to be using RailClone. We're going to be using it. All right, it's actually pretty easy to do. I'll be showing you how to do it right now. Okay, I'm just going to draw it on this ground and leave it there. We'll be drawing a lot of this thing today, so get acquainted with it. All right, so that now we have created it. We need to create the spline that we're going to host this RailClone roof on. So to do that, I want you to come over here, click on this, come down here to Mass Script, click on Run. This file is going to be attached. This particular file here is going to be attached to the description. So download it. So when you do this, you go over to where you saved it, click on it, and you open it. And when you open it, this comes out. Now I want you to also take note that I've made the roof layer the active layer. How you do that is just come beside and click, just like we did when we are putting this thing in the right layers. Right, so make sure that it is here. So what this does for you is anything you are creating now, it is going to be creating it inside the roof layer. And what we're doing are the things that concerns the roof. So let's do that inside the roof. So we don't have to move them later. So what we are going to do, back to what we were doing before, creating the spline that we're going to use to create the roof, detailed roof, like I said. Right, what we're going to do now is name it. So I'm going to name it roof spline. So when you do that, you hit enter. Okay, it's there now. So I'm gonna hit 4 on my keyboard, select this, click new boundary, and then hold down shift. Holding down shift, I will select this other part, then add spline. And once I do that, it's done. We have created what we need to create. So with that out of the way, I'm just going to come out of there. If I select this, you're going to see the spline that we need to do what we need to do, like create this RailClone roof. Okay, just follow this step. Exactly what I did, you're going to get this result. So the RailClone Pro, I'm going to click on this. Okay, I'm going to open here, and I'm going to go into the library by clicking on None. Now I'm looking for roof. Okay. This is fence, this is facade, this is okay, that's roofing. Tiles. So I want to make this thing smaller so we can appreciate it. This is the one I want to use. Let's make it a bit bigger. This is the one I want to use, right? The region tiles. That's what I want to use. So I'm going to load it and say, okay, I've loaded it. Now I have to go down here. See clipping area. Now I click on None and then come over here and add the spline. Once you do that, you're going to have the roof over here. So as you can see, there you go. Put it in clear mode. Right? So yeah. All right. So, but now you can see we have created this roof, but then it is actually, we need to create something else. We need to create this part of the roof, the hips of the roof. I'll be covering these edges and all that. So what are we going to do? We're going to, first of all, come in here, hide this. Okay, we need to create a spline. We need to create a bunch of splines that we're going to use for the hip. So I'm going to select line and I'm going to switch this from 2.5 to 3 because now we need to create it in 3D. So position myself very well. click here. It's good to start from the ground up and also turn off this start new shape. If you turn it off, it is going to enable you to create multiple lines, multiple shape, that's lines, you know, and they will all be one element. So I'm going to start from here and also end it here. Okay. Let me position it well. You have to position it well so you can capture the edges. Can capture the edges that you want. All right. The same goes here too. When that happens, just hit the escape button. That is going to, you know, remove it and allow you to start afresh, but not starting afresh from the beginning part. Just recreate that particular spline again. So yeah, now that I've created this, as you can see, I thought. Okay, so no problem. So here we go. I'm just going to attach this, attach it to these other ones, and then this one. So here we go. Hold on a minute. I've attached the wrong one. The roof spline, let me just turn it off so we don't mistake it for any of this. So now let me just start the attaching. Attach this and attach this. Good. Now we have one single line. Good. Put this to the center. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to create another RailClone object. I'm going to create it here. And then like we did before, we're going to go and select a heap that we like. I think this one goes well. Okay. I think that one goes well with what we just created. So I'm going to come down here, you know, base object, none. Select this. As you can see, we've created it. So when I turn on this thing, you're going to see it is right there. So this is two out. We can now adjust the parameter. Okay, like this part is okay. If it's too high, you can just select the Z offset. You can see it's raising it up. That way is bringing it down. So extend ends. We can use this one. You can see the ends are extended. Okay. So now if we want to move it in because it's outside a lot, you can just use this, select this, and then adjust it where we want it to be. Okay, adjust it to this place, select this one, adjust it right here. Right here. Okay. So I'm just going to select this one. Move it in as well. I'm sure there's a way to do this, you know, from inside these settings, but RailClone settings, but this one works as well, and this is how I do it. Right? So yeah. I've adjusted it. It's looking good. Now for this edge, you can just come here and select this. Wait, hold on a minute. Select this. use the extend, cover it up. Okay. All right. So the next thing I want to do now is I want to add, because we're still on the roof matters, I want to add a roof gutter. That's number one, and also a drain pipe sprout. So to do that, I want to actually draw in this. You can see the drain pipe where it is. I want to actually draw it in, so that we're going to use it later to add the drain pipe. So I'm just going to, very simple stuff. Hold and shift, do this. Do it like this again. And then take it down. That's it. We might make an adjustment to this later when the time comes, but for now, we're going to leave it like this. But then I want to move it right where I want it to be. So I'm going to go to the plan view, put it in wireframe mode, and then turn on the plan view, the plan, floor plan, this thing. So I'm going to move it. This is where that pipe is. I'm going to move it there. Good. We actually have two. So I'm just going to take this to that area. Copy. Don't worry. We're going to attach it when the time comes. Yeah, that's exactly where we want it. So yeah, the next thing I want to do is draw for the roof gutter, because the sprout is going to come from the gutter. So we're going to draw that for the roof gutter. Hold on a minute, let me see. We need to raise these things some more. So I'm just going to, the Z offset, I'm going to use this, raise it up. So it's at the appropriate height. Yeah, exactly. Because it was sinking in a lot. Now that we have done that, so let's go ahead and do this. So I'm going to isolate this. So it's easier for me to draw the lines I need to draw. I'm going to come over here, turn on the snap toggle it on, turn on the snaps. We just call it the snap because that's what it is. Okay, yeah, now we've done that. So what I want to do now is draw another RailClone object. So I'm going to draw it over here. I'm going to come in here, go over here, go to guttering, right? I'm going to use this one, okay? I'm going to load it in, I'm going to say yes. I'm going to come down here, select none, and I'm going to click this. Okay. Yeah. So it is facing inward, as you can see. How do I solve this problem? I'll just select that line. Okay. I set this to shape, so it's easier for me to select the line. Select the line, and I'm going to just rotate it. Okay. Hit A, it toggles on this. If you right click here, we're going to change this to 45 degrees. So it snaps at the angle of 45. So it's easier to rotate things quicker. So when I do that, as you can see, we are on this other side, right? I'm sure there are easier way to do this, but at least like this, it gives me the result I want. Right? So I'm going to bring everything back. Okay, change this back to all. Good. So we have our, I think I have to take it up a little bit more. To move this, you have to select the okay, you have to select the line that is anchored to. So I'm going to move it and move it and move it till it gets to this place. All right, so the next thing I want us to do is create this downpipe. But for us to do that, we need to create the junction where create an opening where the water will flow through to get to this place. Mind you, the purpose of us doing this is to model it to, serious detail. So now what I want to do is select this vertex and then select refine, or you can just right click on this line. You're going to see refining here. So when you do that, you click there. When you click there, you see it will create something like this for you. Let's go ahead and come here and click again. Good. So the next thing I want you to do, click on this refine tool, deactivate it. Now select this vertex. Also select this one. Right click. Change it from corner to bezier. When you do that, it's going to create this thing for you. Right? When it creates it, this is where you're going to fix your, right? You come over here, you see it again. This is where you're going to fix your down pipes too. Good. So you can actually select this thing and move it around. As you're moving it, it's moving it to where you want it to be. But before we do that, let's first of all know where our down pipe are going to be so that we can just fit it into that position. Right? To create a down pipe, what are we going to do? Create another RailClone. Another RailClone object. So come in here, click on none. You see the pipe that we're having here. So what I need is a round pipe. This one. And then I'm going to load it in. And we're already here. I'm going to click on this and I'm going to select this. When I do that, a lot of things happened. So we're just going to make an adjustment. Wait, I thought I selected the round one. Let's see. Let's first of all adjust this. So I'm going to come down here to the parameters. You're going to see brackets spacing. This is the one we need to actually first of all deal with. So I'm going to increase it till it makes sense. Good. Yeah. Exactly. So it's the bracket that is the problem. Now that we have solved the problem of the brackets, everything is good. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to adjust this spline so it fits into where we need it to be. We don't need to adjust anything here. We're going to, yes. Okay. Oh, okay. So what we need to do now is to move the spline that we created, that this thing is hosted on. We'll move it so we can adjust what we need to adjust. So I'll select it. Okay. Hit one on the keyboard and then move it. Move this. Okay. Doesn't really matter. I'm going to move both of them down. Okay. So let's come over here so we can fit it in properly. Actually, this is the one we're going to fit in now. So move this one. Yes. Okay. Good. So we're just going to move this up, bam, and there we have it. So what I have to do now to make sure that this joins this is, with this selected, I'll just come over here, attach. So here we have exactly that same pipe, okay, just by attaching that to that. And there we have it. So what I'm going to do now is, I'm going to make sure that this aligns properly, just like we have, we did here. So I'll select this other line that we're having here and then move it into position. Good. Now, the line there is not like this one, so I'm just going to make an adjustment to that one. So I'll select this. Select this and then select that. First of all, get it to this point and then bring it down. Good. So yeah, we're good now. So I think that's it. That concludes it for the roof for us. I don't think there's anything else we need to do as far as this roof is concerned. We're not going to do that over here because the render we're going to do is not going to show for there. So the next thing I want us to do is to add the windows and the doors. So to do that, I will have to create a new layer for the windows and doors. So 07. Windows and doors. The reason why I created them together is because they are going to virtually be exactly the same material. So there's no need. Exactly the same thing and material. So I'm just going to come over here, change this back to all so I can select everything. I'm just going to, okay, yeah. So first of all, I'm going to use a spline. Spline is virtually what we use for almost everything in this software when it comes to RailClone anyway. So I'm going to hit S on the keyboard and then so that it snaps to the face of this. Okay. Let me just adjust the one that I've created already. So I'll select this. Let me move it in here to the middle. I right click, convert to editable spline, and I'll hit 1 on the keyboard to put it in vertex selection mode. Let me just change this back to 2.5. Well, I only use 3 when I want to do 3D snapping, right? So yeah, there's a video I've done on this channel where I explain all these things, you know, the difference between all of them, when you should use any one of them. So if you haven't seen that video, endeavor to go and see it. So I'm going to snap this. What I'm doing actually right now is I'm creating the spline with which I'm going to use to create the windows and the doors. As you can see, I'm about to make this as big as this now. So select the vertex. For me to do that effectively, I have to do it in isometric view. Okay. I need this to be on the floor, so I'm just going to select everything. Then select this floor. So now with it being here, I can select this line. Okay, select that line and then hit 1 to be on vertex selection mode, then snap it. Oh, no. Right where we want it to be. So for this other one, I'm just going to, let me start with something that is going to be easier for us to edit. If I know what, let me just create a new one there. Okay. Do it in 3D. The 3D snapping. Okay, yeah, that's good. So I'm going to right click, editable spline, convert editable spline, and then change this back to 2.5. Just like that. So I'm going to go to the top view, wireframe mode, F3 on your keyboard to switch to wireframe mode. Now I'm going to turn off the snap toggle so I can just eyeball it to the middle, and that's it. So it is time for us to create the doors and windows. So what do we do? Exactly. Create. We're going to create 2. One for the windows, the other one for the doors. So yeah. So yeah. Yep. I'm going to rename this. I'm going to call it windows. Then this I'm going to call door. Sliding door. Okay, so you select the windows. Let's go ahead and click here. Actually, let's just select this one. All right. Say okay. Okay. So it's time for us to select the spline we want to create this window on. All right. So when it comes to windows, it is not going, if you leave it on spline, this base object, if you leave it on spline, it is not going to work. What you need to do is select the clipping area and then click on none to select the spline now. You select this spline, as you can see, we're where we want to be. Right. So we just want 2 windows, like 2 panes of windows, not 3. So how do we adjust that? So we come down here. Number of window is showing, can you see? Number of windows. So we just reduce it. It is going to give us exactly what we want, which is 2. As I can see. I think that's that for that. We have adjusted. It's okay. So the next thing for us to do is just to add the spline. When we do that, it is going to keep adding the windows there. So as it is now, I am going to go over to attach. Attach this. You have a window there. Attach that. And we have a window there. Good. So the next thing I want to do is for us to create the sliding door. So I'm going to select this, come in here, click on this to select. You can see we have a slide. This is a sliding, simple sliding here, and we want it to be 3. So I'm going to select this one, the one that is 3 already, and I'm going to load it. Good. So like we did before, clipping area, none. Then I'm going to click here. So we have it, right? We have our sliding door in place. Good. We're going to change all this material just with time. Okay. That's good. So I'll hide everything. We have our windows, we have our doors, we have our roof members, and everything is where they're supposed to be. So this building is actually done. So we can go ahead, Ctrl S to save. If you have not saved before, you can go ahead and save. Okay. It's very important to always save your file, at reasonable intervals. Now, these handles are outside. If you want them to be inside, it's a problem. Now you can see that these window handles are out here. If you don't want them to be out here, you want them to be inside because that's where they are actually supposed to be. It's actually very simple. All you have to do is select this spline, as you can see. Okay. Then you can rotate it 180. Select the spline and rotate. If you're not sure what axis to rotate, you can just select it like so and just rotate. As you're rotating it, you are looking at this thing and then you will see where to rotate to. Or you can just rotate it as rotated. Okay, and there we have it. We are done with this modeling. So when we turn this off, you can see everything that has to do with window is turning off and on, which is exactly what we want. For the roof, everything that has to do with the roof is turning on and off. So yeah, we are done with the modeling aspect of this. Let's go ahead and add a plane that will serve as the base where we're going to do everything we're going to do. So go back to standard, select plane, just add it, make it big. Good. And everything is where they are supposed to be. Now, last thing but not the least, we're going to add some chamfers around, for realistic purposes. Even though I don't even think it's that necessary, but I want you to have the habit of doing that. So I'm going to chamfer. Okay. Make sure it's chamfering. The smooth is just for the chamfer alone. So for here, I'm going to add. This is too small to be having that much. Even 2 is okay for this one. It's okay now. So I'll just copy this one. Copy, paste it. Okay, let me just editable poly. Then now paste this. For this one, we are going to go all out. So let's say 5, then 2. Good. And this might be too much though. So 3. That's fine. So I'm going to copy this and I'll paste it here. And here. And here. And even on this building. This is like, it's multiplying a lot of, oh, you can see what just happened. When I did this, the place I created this just, straight up out of the zone. So we're going to deselect that. I know why that happened, but it's fine. I'm just going to leave it. Another way you can do this is just to select the edges you want and then chamfer it manually. Like you can just select the edges you want, like so. So it's going to be like a gruesome process to try and select all these other parts, right? So as you can see, it's not an impossible task to do. So yeah, these are the areas I want to apply chamfer on. So we're done. Right. Okay. Part of the reason why I modeled the building like that is because I actually want it to be pretty straightforward for us. I would have just used one box, but then it's okay. We're here. So you can see we have a chamfer here, just like the one we did before. So we're going to come here. We're going to add 3. Make sure it is smoothing just the chamfer. And then here we're going to add 2. Okay, as you can see. It's doing the job, doing the chamfering work, just like we want it to do. Okay, so I think okay, yeah. You can even add on the go. And I don't know, for some reason I didn't add this one. So you add the ones that you forgot to add. And you're good to go. Okay, yeah. So yeah, that's that. For these top parts, I can easily add the stuff that I need there. Good. This, of course. This, of course. Very good. I don't need to add it to that one. So there's something else we actually need to add. We need to cover the bottom of this. We need to make it like, covered. So to do that, I'm actually going to do it the easiest way possible, So I'm just going to come over here, draw a triangle like so, and then hold Shift to ensure I'm drawing a straight line. Close the spline. Now I'm going to use the extrude modifier. Okay, use the extrude modifier, increase it. Okay. I'm going to Editable poly. Wireframe mode, so we know what we're doing. So for this, I'm just going to, momentarily, I'm going to turn off the chamfer so we can easily snap on the surface of on the edges of the roof. So S, so we'll snap here, and we'll snap here. So yeah, I'm going to just mirror this. Create a copy while doing it. Okay. So when I turn on this chamfer mode, you see it's going to chamfer those edges and everything is going to be all right. Good. So yeah. The same thing. But I actually don't want to chamfer that one. It's just going to like cover up that part and be a part of this roof. So it's okay if you don't actually chamfer that part. So yeah, we're done with the modeling. So this thing I just created now, is supposed to be part of the roof members. So I'm going to select both of them, move this to the roof, and then drop them inside the roof. Good. So when I turn off the roof, they go with it too. So I'll turn off this section now, and we are done. Good. So the next thing for us to do is to add the camera and then, start visualizing. Okay, these different colors that or different elements are having, I don't actually like it. So I'm just going to select everything, open my material editor. Okay, open Corona physical material. Apply this one to everything. For now, we're going to leave it like this. It doesn't even really matter. What matters is that everything is the same color now, white, as you can see. But the wireframe is still a different color, so it's okay. So I'm going to create camera 08 camera, and then we're going to add our first camera, the Corona camera, in there. Okay, I think it's actually straight, but it's not. If it is not, we're going to align. I want to have a straight camera, right? Straight camera in front. Okay. So yeah, you can see it's very straight now. So I use this to align it. The camera is selected. You click on the target. Now you select it. Just put it on X, uncheck every other thing. It's going to align. Now I want to set my camera viewport. So I'm going to click here. Select. If you don't have this anymore, if you don't have it in your 3dsmax, you can come over here, right click, go over to layout, still the same thing. So I'm going to apply. I like working with two camera viewports. Okay, so I work here while I set my camera on the next one. Okay, fix it there so that whatever I do is going to render from there. So I'm going to hit C to put it put this view into the camera view mode. And then I'm going to turn off the target for now. Change this to default shading so I'll be seeing what I'm doing. So typically, the camera height for my stereo renders are usually between 1.2 to 1.350. So I'm going to make this 1.2 for now. We're going to be adjusting it later. So Shift F, when you hit Shift F on your keyboard, it shows the frame, the camera frame where we're going to be. Like when you render, what is going to show. Right now, if we render this, it's going to be showing like this. But I want this particular work, I want us to do a vertical frame. Right? So I'm going to right click, select. I'm going to come in here. It's on custom already. I'm just going to put 3 in the width. I'm going to check this. 3 in the width and then 4 here. And then put it back. So we can add whatever number we want to add. That's where it's locked. So I'll select this viewport. This is actually where I want the, to always be rendering from. So I'm going to lock it, view to render. I'm going to lock this camera view here by clicking this lock button here. So it's locked. Anytime I do interactive rendering, it's going to come from there. So let's adjust this camera a bit. So I'm going to select the camera. See, click here. You scroll down, come down here. You see, select the camera. You can select the camera through this means. So when I select it, first thing I want to adjust is this, the focal length. I want it to be like 24. Okay. Then I want to adjust it properly. Now I want to employ the help of Image Comp Helper. Image Comp Helper is a script that you can get from free from ScriptSpot. I will put the link in the description. Go there. You're going to be able to get it free of charge. You download it and then it's going to, help you do what I'm about to do. So I click this now to bring it out. And then I'm going to put the rule of third. Okay, I'm going to select this camera and I'm going to come down here. Turn on vertical tilt, even though we don't need to. Okay. Put it in the middle. Right. Okay. So 1350. All right. So hold on a minute. Okay. So I'm going to, I think it's okay here now because I want this building to be sitting on this part while this other one goes up. It's okay. it's okay, fine. So yeah, this is it. So the next thing I want us to do is actually to, light this scene and start our rendering journey. So how do we light the scene? We're going to use HDRI. That's number one. We're going to use HDRI to light this scene. So we're going to go ahead and do that. So open your Chaos Cosmos. I'm not connected to the internet right now. But the one we're going to use, I've downloaded, is something I've downloaded before. So I'll just click this. It's going to bring it in. So day number 8, you're going to use that one. Okay. So I think it's in. So I'm going to open here and I'm going to drag it in here. I'm going to pass it through a corona color correction map. Then I'm going to pass it back, put it back in there. So whatever adjustment I make here happens in there. Okay, so let's see, shall we? We're going to do interactive rendering. And we're going to see what we're working with. All right. That's the HDRI. Okay. The HDRI I've just added. Let's see if we're going to get a better, cloud, you can see we are just rotating it. This is 90, it's 120. Okay. Okay, let's leave it at this. Now, for now, we're going to leave this lighting the way it is. By the time we start populating this scene, right? Wait, if I leave it at 0, what's the direction? Oh, okay. So I think 60. The sun is not coming from this angle, the side. Let me see, 90. Okay. It's between 60 and 90 at this point. Let me leave it at 60. We'll figure it out as we go along. So it's time for us to start placing trees. All right, we're going to start placing trees and other stuff. Okay, that's the camera we just finished adding. So let's start with trees. Trees, big trees. Let me put big tree. The one I'm going to place by hand. So for this, we're going to also use an asset from here. We're going to use a tree from in here. We're going to use the English oak. English oak. Let's see. Yeah, that's what I downloaded. Okay. So what I'm going to do, let me minimize this for now, is come down here and then duplicate to mesh. When I do that, I'm going to delete this first one. Now, what I want to do is material override. I want to override the materials, right? So that we can actually, focus on the shadow and light composition. Then later, when the time comes, we're going to, work with this, material, this tree. So I'm going to go to my render setup in the scene. You're going to see material override. I'm going to take this. I'm going to pass it through. Hold on a minute. You're going to take it. You see this. This is where we're going to put the material I want to override every other thing with. So I'm going to pass it through there. Okay. But I'm going to preserve bump and displacement. And opacity. Okay. That's just it. So yeah. So let's start our interactive rendering again. That's not bad at all. Okay. Okay. So I think you're using this for that override of the tree of every other thing. Maybe I should tone it down a little bit. Oh, okay. I think see, whenever I'm rendering this thing, I like to turn it off. Okay. I like to turn it off because the way it smudges things down for me, I don't actually like it. Okay. So I tend to just turn it off. So yeah, for this, the building itself, hold on a minute. I'm going to select all of it. In fact, yeah, I'm going to select all of it. I'm going to apply a different material to it, which is this one. Then I'm going to go into my my render setup. I'm going to exclude. Hold on a minute. I thought I selected them now. Sorry, let me just select it again. So I'm going to add all of them in there. So as you can see, my building is looking a bit different while this tree is looking darker as it should. Okay. Needs to be darker than the sky. So yeah, let me move forward a little bit. Okay. I don't want this other part, I don't want this part to be showing. So I want to move it back. So we're just seeing that part of that tree. Good. That's very good. All right, so this tree is not the only tree we're going to have in this. We're going to also have, this tree all over the place at the behind, background. So I'm just going to copy it and then put it where I want it to be. So this over here. another one right behind the building. Okay, this one a little bit closer. Now I'm going to rotate this to give it that, let me turn this off, to give it that vibe that things are different, right? You can't have all the tree looking exactly the same thing. I might even scale it down a little bit. You know, these things, when we start using Forest Pack, these things, they come automatically with the Forest Pack, right? It's not something you have to, you know, keep doing and doing and doing. So once you do it once with Forest Pack, once you apply your Forest Pack, it's there. All right, so I'm gonna keep this one here. Now I'm gonna move this one in between. Good. All right, so this is just the beginning, right? We're still just getting started. Now, I want us to add some pine trees all around here. And this one, we're not just going to, well, let's just bring them in. We're going to add some manually. Let me also increase this because it's becoming too dark. And also my white balance this image is looking too bluish, so adjust the white balance a little bit. Everything I'm going to leave the way they are for now, because I don't have any reason whatsoever to adjust. So you see these three different, you know, we're going to use them. They are the bushes we're going to use for the background. So we're going to bring them in. Bring this. You can see the name Wilkstromia ovaus. If you always to search this thing, you're going to find them. So I'm just going to bring those ones in. Good. Now for this is a maple tree. I guess we can use this. But they might be very tall, too tall for my liking. So let me just get this. Get the, what do you call it now? The pines. This one, I think I will use that. Okay. All these things here, you can use them to create these two. I'll use this. I'll use this. And then this. You know, when creating like a forest, you need, you know, varieties of trees. Okay. It's always very, you know, important that you use varieties of trees. They make for more realistic forest, right? So I'm going to select this, select all the boxes that just came in. Hold on a minute. I'm going to stop interactive rendering. Select just the trees. This is I cannot emphasize the benefit of working with layers. See the way it's so easy for me to do that. That's because I'm working with layers, right? So I'll minimize this for bits, minimize it. Then I'm going to come down here, duplicate the mesh, delete. So when you select it, you duplicate the mesh and then you delete the proxy version that came in. Okay, so select this, duplicate the mesh, and then delete. So yeah, the same thing applied here. Duplicate the mesh, delete. So these ones are the little bushes. The bushes I'm going to use to cover the horizon when the time comes. So duplicate the mesh, delete. Okay, so yeah, there we go. Now for this, let me start interactive rendering again so I can be seeing what we are having in real time. Okay. So let's see. Okay, yeah, not bad at all. But yeah, it's encroaching into this tree, and that is not good. That is bad. So I'm gonna move this, move it out. I don't want that encroachment. I want it to be its own man. Down here. Okay, so I'm just placing some things in places that I would love, they will be making impact in those places. Let me actually be seeing this thing in real time. Okay. All right. You know what? I don't think it's needed anymore in those places. Maybe I'll just place it behind here. That's not bad at all. Good. Okay, so it's time for me to move around the other vine tree. I don't know what to call this. These are fairs. Okay, let's move them around, place them properly. Okay, so I'm going to create the forest park now. So let me just extend these things so as not to run into any issue when the time comes. Good. So let me stop this. I'm going to click on the forest park. You don't have to say, because the trees we're going to use are actually the trees that we have here. So don't select anything from the library. Just click here. Okay, so you have actually selected that. This, this plane as the place where you want to distribute these things on, like the distribution. So what we need to do is add the geometry we want to distribute, which is this. So as I did that, you can see everywhere is pretty much occupied. I want to come back in here in display. I'm going to change it to proxy. Oh, it's actually in proxy. Change it to point cloud. So that way we get to be able to select other things. So I'll add this. Oh, okay, I've added this before, so I'm just going to deselect it. Then I'll add this. Don't worry, we're going to adjust the things that we're adding. And they're going to be, I think that's about that. So I will close this, open distribution. I'll reduce this to like, oh wait, hold on a minute. I'm going to increase it to make it smaller. I'm going to, let me go back to area and change this to box. That's going to enable us see exactly the display. Change it to box. That's actually going to enable us see how many we are dealing with. So yeah, it's fewer now. Okay. So yeah, with this now, what I'm going to do is go over to area, turn it off, right? Then add a new paint area, include, make sure it's in include, select this and increase your brush size. Okay, can see the brush. You can see the size. When I increase it, you see how big it has become. I need it to be bigger because I want to paint the forest that is going to be behind there now. Right? So yeah, make it a bit bigger too. So now when I do this, the forest is behind. Let's see what it's going to look like. We have multiple trees in that area now. Okay. Okay, so I actually want to clean out some part of this forest. Okay, it's actually blocking the place I want to have a special kind of tree. So now I'm going to draw another one behind here. So that's good. I'll add the forest here for shadow purposes. And then behind here. Wait, hold on a minute. Why is the stuff not casting shadows on this area? Too much. I knew it's just too much. And clean some. Okay. All right, yeah. So now we are talking. You can see the effect of that shadow on that side. So let's do another one over here. Very good. I like the way the shadow came. It's giving that forest vibe, but not really, you know, where there is a driveway. There's a driveway through this place because we're going to have a driveway going through this place towards the house. I mean, that's how people get to the house, right? Okay, so we've created the forest. Now the next thing I want to, wait, hold on a minute. Okay. It didn't really add anything, so we're not going to add that part. Now the next thing I want us to create is actually the, what do you call it now? The bushes around. So yeah, the next thing I want to do is go to transform and, you know, turn some stuff up. And the one I want to turn up is the rotation, enable. So the trees are rotated, you know, on their own without you actually doing much. So as it is, like you turn it on, it is going to, you know, rotate it to make it look different from each other, different from one another. Now I can turn on this scale, so they scale each other, so all of them are not the same height, right? Some are shorter, some are taller. All these things makes the, you know, the forest that we are trying to create to actually look a bit, you know, realistic. Okay, a lot realistic, actually, not a bit. Okay, so the next thing I want us to do right now is to go ahead. Wait a minute. Okay, is to go ahead and add the bushes. Okay, just like we added this one. So I'm going to stop this, Control S to save. We've done a lot. I wouldn't want to lose, you know, the things we have done. Okay, cool. So I'm going to create another forest pack. Okay, there's forest 1. I'm going to call this Big Tree Scatter. And I'm going to put it at the top to know it is a forest pack. Let's put FP there too. Enter. So yeah, I'm just gonna click here. Wait, let me click it first. So yeah, it's created as forest 02. I'm gonna call this 02 bushes, scatter. FB. Let's put FB there. Enter. Okay, it's okay. It's all right. We can leave it the way it is. So this one, I've not actually done anything to it yet. So I'm going to come over here. I'm just going to add this. Add this. And then add this. Cool. Okay. So what I want to do, go over to distribution. So I want this one to be densely packed. And I want the scale to be a bit higher than it is now. So I'm going to come over here, turn on the scale. Enable. So I'm going to take this from 100 to 200. Okay, so like we did before, I'm going to open area and I'm going to turn it off. I'm going to turn on my paint. Okay, it's already big. So once I select this, you can see you have a big paint. So I'm going to over here. Right, so let's see how it's looking. As you can see, it is covered. Okay, the bush is okay, the bush is actually covered what they're supposed to cover, and that's good. Now I want to turn on the rotation tool in there, so it will be doing, the rotation and all what's not. I want to reduce this so I can reduce the brush size. Okay, yeah, a bit more. All right, so yeah. That's too big. We're going to have another one for those places, but for now, let's just add a few here and there of the bushes. Well, this is the forest we're dealing with here, so you gotta have some bushes, Nah, it's too much. It's too much. So what we can do is we can move this particular one. We can leave it, but then we'll move it manually. Okay. And to do that, we just come over here. Hold on a minute. Items editor, put it in custom edit, say yes, and then select this thing. Now we can select this and move it anywhere we want it to be, which is here. I want to move it aside. It's too much. Just bring it back in. Just a little bit more. Very good. Very good. So yeah, I want to add a bit more things. Let's do that again, please. Okay. It's okay. I think it's okay. Right. Yeah. So that's cool. Good. All right. So now we have the bushes where we want the bushes to be. Okay. Let me just stop this for now. The next thing I want us to do actually is to go ahead and add the what do you call it now? The forest bushes now. These ones are, we added those ones to cover the horizon. Now we're going to add the ones in the foreground, but they're not going to be these ones, right? I'm going to just bring them in. I'm going to copy them and bring them into this scene. For this particular one, I'm not going to use Chaos Cosmos. I'm going to bring in the things I actually need. So let me go ahead and do that. All right. So I have imported. You can see I already grouped them. You can see small plant, big plant. These ones I'm going to use them for the first phase, of the forest plants. And then this other one here, I'm going to use them for the second phase of the forest plant, right? So just, watch me, you see how I'm going to use them now to create that realistic forest vibe. Okay. But then we're going to have a drive path into this place. I'm going to park a car somewhere, put some stuff in front of it. So yeah, just let's go. Okay, so what we're going to do, like we used to do, select forest park, select this plane, right? Let me minimize this thing for now. Then come right in here. Oh, okay. Let me move it into this place. Small plant, the forest park or small plants should be with small plants, right? So I am going to come in here where the geometry is supposed to be. I'm not going to select them because you can see a lot is a lot. So I'm going to click here. So I'm going to import multiple objects. Now, because I added them in a group here, it is going to be easy for me to do that. So I'm going to select all of them in the small plant and I'm going to say add. So it is going to add all of them for me. As you can see, they are here. So one thing I forgot to mention something. Let me leave this open like this. That is very important that you need to note is that when you're working with this, to improve your realism, it is advisable to work with the same plant, different types of the same plants, right? This is, as you can see, this is a Brosonetia papyrifera, right? This is still that same thing, but different. Still that same, you can see the name different. So all these ones in front of here, these ones are also the same plants, but different type of the same plant. So when you combine all these things together, it is going to come together to give you that vibe of realism, right? So I'm going to select that for it. You see why it's important to always work with layers. Now I know exactly where the forest park I want to select is. I don't know, none of this forest park I'm creating now, I don't know where the icon is, but I know that this is it. Okay, so I selected it so easily. So it's very advisable when you're doing this, always work with layers so that it's easier for you to work and find things in 3ds Max. Right, so let's move on. So what I want to do before we start anything, because, I told you before that we're going to be working with clusters in this forest park. This particular, when we want to scatter these forest grass and forest plants, we're going to be working with clusters. For us to know the actual cluster, because this thing, we went and named and colored each element of this grass, differently, even though they are the same. I want all plants that are the same to have the same coloring. So you can see, okay, this is where this one ended. So I'm going to select all these ones here and I'm going to give it one color. I'm going to give it red. Let's start with red. Okay, good. So let's do for another one. This is Cinnamomum bomani, right? Okay, still it. Camphora. Okay, this is where it ended. So this, I'm going to make this blue. this blue, right? So they'll have another cinnamon camphora. So I'm gonna find, okay, yeah, this is where it ended. That's very good. So I'll make this green. This is a familiar plant here. Okay, I think this one just ended here. I'll make these purple. Okay. So Morus Arbor, that's the end of it. So yeah. This, maybe we'll make this yellow. Cool. So we have done that. What I want us to do is to go ahead and add one empty, okay? Add one empty item, like a new item. So it will be creating gaps for us. Now, the next thing I want us to do is to reduce the probability of these elements, right? Reduce the probability in the sense that the likeliness of them coming out, the likeliness of them being what would be there. How do I explain this thing now? Probability means the likeliness of something happening, right? So I want to reduce the probability of these plants coming out and then still leave this one at 100. So let me go ahead and do that. So I'm going to select all of them as I've already done. Then I'm going to come down here. You see the probability here. I'm going to reduce them to 20, right? I'm going to leave that as it is now. So I'm going to go down here for us to be seen, because the colors that we applied, we need to be seeing them. For us to be seeing them, we'll go to display, under shade, use color ID. Then I'm going to change this to point cloud. I think that's better. From afar here, we're going to be seeing this thing now. So when I come over here to, what do you call it now? To distribution, and I turn on the clusters, you see the way the thing is clustering together. So I'm going to add roughness to enable, a few others that are not part of this cluster to just, blend into other clusters. So 20, then noise, let's make it 22. This, actually, I want to make it, maybe jump packed some more. So I'm going to make it like 8,000, right? Okay. If we need to adjust these things, we are going to adjust them. But for now, let's leave it the way I have made them. So for the area, we're going to uncheck this. We're going to turn it off and then turn on the paint, right? So I'm going to click here. Still very small. All I'm going to do is come here, come somewhere, add 0 there. Now it's very big. So I'll just dab it. Dab it once. I don't want it to be like this, actually. It's round. Let me reduce the radius. I think it's okay now. Yeah, so don't worry. We're going to adjust things when the time comes. Good. So yeah. Okay, let's start interactive rendering. For now, let's just go ahead and save our file. We might have to reduce the scale of these things. We might have to, touch it up, but we need to see actually what we're doing before we start making decisions of what to do. Right? So let's just look at it. Okay, as you can see, this is not looking good at all. Now it's time for us to make adjustments to this. So first of all, it is selected already. So I'm going to come back in here, select this, come down here. Okay. I'm going to reduce this probability. I'm going to reduce it to 10. Then the scale, let's make it 50 and see what we're going to have. Okay. Oh no. I'm going to make it 70 now. 70%. As you can see, it is turning into, it's looking like what we are going to have in a forest. As you can see, it's no longer all over the place. in the face and all that. Good. So, what am I going to do next now? Okay, so let's go and work with the transform. Oh yeah. I don't have a slope, so let me just actually adjust this thing to say this direction. I'm going to adjust it to 20, right? So, you know, I'm going to add some realism to what we're doing. Okay, so the next thing, the transform is actually where I was going to. Let's not do translation, let's do rotation, right? Then the scale, very important. This actually, you know, adjust the way the sizes are, you know, from 80 to 120 is going to make the scale a little bit different from each other. So over here, I think this probability being 10, okay, to 75. And we'll actually adjust this to 75. Let's see. 70 is okay. 70 is cool. Mind you, we're still going to do the one for the big plants. So I think it's okay. Now there are some things I want us to do in the area. I want us to, you know, remove this tree from this equation. So this thing, they don't grow where the tree is growing. Because in real life, you know, plants, grass, they give the tree some, you know, reasonable distance before they start growing. That's, you know. To be able to do that, I have to select this English oak. Okay. Come over. Select the trunk. Detach it. Say okay. Right? And then come over here. Select this forest. You know, if we use this entire tree to do this stuff, right, it is actually going to, this place that we are having the leaves is going to be part of what will be excluded. And that's not what we want. We just want this tree trunk area to be excluded. So with this selected, I'm going to come over here, right? And I'm going to click on this part, this one, and then click this tree trunk. Okay, it is just going to exclude the area around that tree trunk, you know, so that there will be no plant growing on it. That's good. So I want to create the footpath now where the, you know, humans or the cars will be driving through, and it's just going to be right here. So let me just minimize this, go over here, come over to this place, then add this, the line. So I'm going to start it from here. It's not going to be like straight. So, you know now. So with this now, we can make adjustments to this spline. So with the spline selected, I'm going to hit 1 on my keyboard. I want to move this somehow away from there. Okay, so now I can move this one. All right. Okay. Okay. Let's just take this back a little bit. And then this. So it's just like you can just create the path that you want. Now I want these two things to lean towards this side because that's where the the car will be parked. All right. So yeah. Okay. So I'm going to select this. Come over here. Okay. And I'm going to click on this spline. I'm going to find that spline and I'm going to add it. Put it on exclude and then increase the thickness of that exclusion. So you can see something is beginning to happen there. Let's see through the user's interactive rendering. Okay. As you can see, that's the driveway right here. So let me just make this like 1,000, just 1,000. Okay. Now I want to add fall off so that as the plant is getting closer to the road, they are getting smaller and tinier, realism. So I'm going to put density and I'm going to type another 1,000 in here. You see, this area now will be chopped off, chopped off a little bit. Now, when we do this, you find out that we need to adjust the density of this thing. We need to increase the distribution just a little bit more. Okay, because it's not a lot of grass that we're having here now. Let's move this so that we can have some grass coming out of that side. Very good. Exactly, very good. So let me select this again. If you can select it. So I'm going to select all this stuff that we're having here, and I'm going to increase the scale a little bit, just a little bit. It's 10. The probability is 10 now. Let me just make it 15, not the scale now. I'm going to increase the probability, make it 15. Okay, and then the scale, I'm going to make 75. Okay. That's good. That's good. So okay. You know what? I'm going to just return this to 70 now that I've increased the units. That's better now. Good. Yeah. Good. Very good. Very good. Very good. All right. So the next thing I want to do, hold on. I've already done all those things. The next thing I want to do is do for the big plants. Okay, just like we have done for this. So I'm going to stop this. I'm going to select for Forest Park, and I'm going to click on this plane. I'm going to come in here and use list. Big plant. Hold on a minute. Okay. Like we did before, we're going to give them different colors. These ones are already a color on their own. We're going to leave that for them. The Glauca. Okay. Okay, stopped here. So let's give these ones the same color. I'm going to make this red. Okay. This is platanifolia. This is it. So these ones are going to be green. This is lucidum. Okay. The same color. I'm going to make this one yellow. So blue, this one. Morus alba. Okay. Cyan. Let's give this one cyan. Okay, but for this one, we're going to add 2 empty objects. All right. And both of them, we're going to give the same color. What color do we give it now? Okay, let's give it orange. Okay. So, like we normally do, I'm going to select everything here. And I'm going to reduce the probability. Okay, so we have a lot of space. Reduce the probability to 10 or 20. Let's make it 20. The scale, reduce it to 80. And then let's turn on the cluster. For then make this 8,000. Good. All right. So go over to the area now, and then like we do, we'll turn it off, put the paint. Okay, so we're not going to paint the area. We need this thing to also be on. And the area is actually the same area as the one that we have for the small, okay, for the small plants. So I'm going to add this one there too. Okay. First of all, I'm going to remove this. Okay, exclude. Good. And then it's still selected, right? Okay, yeah. With it selected, I'm going to move it to the big trees. Good. So with it selected, I'm going to remove this spline that we have in here, and then make the thickness to be 1000. Okay, and then I'm going to turn on this fall off. Density fall off. 1000 as well. Good. So I am going to open this up, and then let's see. No, I just set those ones up from the top of my head, but let's see. Well, you have to put it in exclude I forgot to do that. That's why the thing just grew all over the place. Good. Okay. Now we need to actually do something to the scale. 80. 50. Let's see how that goes. We're going to do something. This surface, let's just make it 20. Then this, I'm going to turn this on. And I'm going to turn this on as well. I'm going to make this 800. And this 800. One thousand was good. Let's leave it at 1000. I want to reduce the height. This they are becoming quite big, right? So let's make it 80, and this one 50, and this one 80. I mean to say. So reduce the size of this. It's becoming outrageous. The size is just too plenty, right? So yeah. Okay. So with this now, I can just add it in other places, right? So I'm just going to, like here, I need to see some greeneries there. So I'm going to go over here. No, I don't like that. It's okay. Okay, so let's see what I've done looks like. Let's go over to the render setup and turn off the material override. Just have a look. Okay. Now, as you can see, we might have to make some, few adjustments to the small plants. So I will select the small plants. I will just over here reduce the reduce this. Okay. So yes, this is a small. Okay, the small plants. I am going to increase the scale just a little bit. What is the scale now? It's currently at 70. I'm going to make it like 75. Let's see. Okay. For the big. Okay, this is where I added it to the big tree. It should be in the big plants. See, I had a hard time finding this thing. So, yeah. Okay. Okay. So 80. I think 80 is okay. 50. All right. Okay, so yeah. All right. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to create the grass that's going to cover all these other areas. Okay, and I'm going to use a preset to do that. That is another reason why Forest Park is, one of the best things. One of the best things you can add to your workflow, right? So I'm going to just stop this for now. And then this time around, I'm going to click here to select the preset that I want. Okay, so I'm going to go to layered lawns. Let me use this one. This one. Okay, so I'm just going to click here. It's going to like scatter it all over the place, but that's not what we're not going to leave it like that. We're going to come back here. This is a preset, so we're going to leave it the way it is. But then we're going to come here or turn it off, use our paint brush, because I just love using brush. So I'm just going to paint over the area where we're going to be working. Then I'm going to reduce the brush. Where's the brush? So, you know what? I think it's best I just add it here to the small plant part. Okay, so yeah, I want to reduce the size of this. Reduce it some more. So I can just encroach into this plate just a little bit. Because that area is where we're going to have the gravel, our gravel. Okay, but here, I think we should just have some grass over there. Make it big. Okay, so yeah, let's see what we have. But before that, I want to just save, Ctrl S. So I'm going to do my interactive rendering. Okay, as I can see, it's beginning to look good, beginning to look like the woods for real, right? So I think I need to put some trees, like put another tree in here. Let me just try that and see how it's going to look. Okay, this particular tree here. Put it there. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Now what I'm going to do is now get my gravel. But I think this went in too much. So I'm going to just bring it out, like clean out some part of it. Some part of the grass, the area for the grass. So yeah. Just a bit to reduce it. Okay. So I'm going to do the follow-up stuff. Okay, I'm going to turn on the density follow-up and I'm going to add like 1, 2 there. So the edges is going to like give me that follow-up stuff. Let me see 1000. Want to keep your eye on this place. You see it's opening and closing with this stuff. So yeah, that's right about it. Okay. So the next thing I want us to do is actually to add the gravel. We are going to have gravel around this place. And we're going to, it's strange that we're doing this thing before we do the main building, but that main building is not even the least of our concern right now. We just need to get this right? And we need to get it right. Okay, so I am going to we're going to click here, select the gravel that we want. We're going to use okay, let's use this one. Should we use that? Let's use this one. I'm going to select it and I'm going to click on this place. Okay, so I'll come over here and then turn it off. We just need to paint the area of the building, the area around the building. So off, paint area. So I just want to don't worry, we're going to do something to exclude that stuff from the building. For now, all we have to do is paint it on the area around the building. It's okay now. It's okay now. So I'm going to try my best to remove the part that, came on top of the grass. Others, I will just leave them the way they are. It's not really an issue. But the one that, entered this building is an issue. So I'm going to do something right now. And that thing is just to come over here, draw a rectangle. Okay. So I'm going to exclude this now. I'm going to draw a rectangle around this area. This rectangle I just drew now is what I'm going to use to do my exclusion. So I'll select this, the gravel. Okay. And I'm going to come over here, select. All right, so I'm going to put it in exclude now. When I do that, it has excluded it. But that's not exactly what I want. So I'm going to select this, convert the double spline, move this area. So as I'm moving it, it is removing those things from those areas. Can you see? So yeah. So let's do interactive render and see what we are having at this moment. First of all, I'm going to save. And then do interactive render. Okay, it's there. I want us to go close to take a closer look at the gravel and see how it is actually looking. I don't like this gravel. So it's a good thing that we can actually change it when we don't like it. So I've selected it. I'm going to stop this interactive rendering. It's looking too flat. I don't know. Okay. Let's use this. instead. Okay, so let's come back to this one. Okay. This area, that's what I've been looking for. Okay, so let's see. But this particular stuff, yeah, this particular gravel is actually very, very whitish. Okay, that is not an issue. If that's not an issue for you, it's okay. But I want it to be a little bit, because this is a very, very sunny scene now. I don't want it to be this bright, right? So I'm going to, with it selected, I'm going to select all of them. And I'm going to come in here and I'm going to get the material from the selector. Okay, so I'm going to add corona color correction there so we can reduce the brightness. What just, something came out. Let's do -3. Okay, that has made it a little bit grayish. So from there, you can see. I want the scale to be a bit bigger, so leave it at 100. And this other one, 150. Yeah. And so for this plane, we're going to add natural material. I'm going to select this and we're going to apply a material to it. The material is actually from in here. So material, okay, ground, let's see ground. This is actually the material. So I'm going to, I'm going to drag this over here. Before I apply it, I want to make it a bit darker, or have the ability to make it darker if I want. What just happened? You know, let me just apply it. When I do, I cannot get the material into this place. Okay, as you can see, it has been applied down there. I'm going to get the material here now. But then it's looking strange. That's because we have not mapped it. So let's come over here and put UVW map on it. Put it in real world size. That is going to put it in the appropriate mapping size. Okay, so as I can see, forest ground is looking foresty right now. Okay, So let's just quickly go ahead and, apply materials to this building. Okay. Let's apply the roof, the gutter, everything is going to be metallic dark gray. Okay, aluminum dark gray. The building itself is going to be white. The frame of the window is going to be dark gray, right? So it's just basically a simple building, right? It's not supposed to take our time. So I'm going to be using this same Cosmos. For metal, we use this. So this one in the first place, I'm going to apply that same material. I'll apply it. We are still doing interactive rendering. You know what? Let me stop it. When we're done, we'll do everything once and for all. You know what? Let me just create my own material by myself, because now I want this thing to be darker than it is giving me. That's a material. We're going to apply it over there. I don't want it to be overly glossy, so we're going to leave it the way we are leaving it. So this now, I'm just going to convert it to the table poly. So this is the glass, material ID 9, the frame 6, 3. So what else do we have that is occupying? So what is 1? Two, 3, 4. Okay, I think it started from. There's nothing in 4. One. Two. 2 again. So now I have 1 and 2. Exactly. Let's make this 3. So 3. Okay, so to apply material on this now, I'm just going to open this place. Go to General, bring out Material and Sub-Object. Select this, apply this to it. Hold on. Now, Corona Physical Material, I want to apply glass. So that's the glass. For the metal, glass. Window material. Okay, so there you have it. There we go. So I don't know which one the hinge is, but we can find out. By it. So I've applied it to it now. Exactly. Okay. The same thing is what we're going to do here. Okay, now I'm selecting the glass, which I've made, set the material ID to 1. I want to select the frame so I can set it to the other one, which is 2. So I will just hit Control. So I'll just hit Control I on my keyboard. That's going to flip the selection for me. And I'm going to set this material ID to 2. Okay, so yeah, come in here, select that. I'm going to apply this to it. That's good. Let's see what we're having at the moment. So we're getting somewhere with this. So let me just make it smaller a little bit. Hold on a little. So I'm going to select this roof gutter and then this. Okay, yeah, both of them are selected. And I'm going to apply my metallic material to it. Okay, as you can see, this glass is reflecting things happening behind. And there's a lot of trees, bushes there. And I'm going to add those ones shortly. But for now, let's focus on the task at hand, which is applying materials to this building. For the walls, I'm going to use the Chaos Cosmos again. So walls, this, I'm going to use this. Going to change that color. Make it a little bit darker. Okay. Not bad at all. So I'm going to say okay. here, let's just here and here, we're going to use concrete material from this same place. Where is concrete? Let me see. Concrete. So which one do we use? Use this one. We're going to use that one. And now we're going to apply a UVW map to this. See, this is why working with modeling in 3dsmax is also very good. As you can see, I'm just applying this and they are applying, which is really nice. I'm not stressed out by it. I'm just working. So I'm going to bring it out again for our tiles. Okay, so I'm going to go to tile. And we're going to use stone tiles. This one. So with this, I'm just going to apply that same UVW map on it. And it's going to be okay. This. So let me find. This is it. Okay. So with this, I just apply. And apply. So here, I'm still going to use that same concrete that I used. Okay, I didn't save it. Let me just bring it back out. Go over to concrete. This is the one. So I'm going to apply the UVW map and also apply UVW map. Okay, so as you can see, it's not, or it's already beginning to look up. So here, this is a chimney. I don't know. For this chimney, we're going to be using a dark colored brick, right? We're going to be using maybe black brick, whatever. Let's just see. Brick. Okay. We don't have a dark colored one. That's crazy. Okay, so we're going to use this one. So I'm going to go ahead and download this one. Okay. Let me see if I can still find this where it is. Good. So I have it now. Bring it in here. Paste. That's the material up there and then paste. Well, I just think that is not going to work there. So I'm just going to apply this and then make it dark color, right? It's never going to be a brick up there. All right. So this brick is going to be painted black, right? So just go to general, put this over there. First of all, we're going to desaturate it in the advanced. So we're going to darken it some more to match what we got going on over there. So we'll do that by coming to gamma over here it was like this before, so I changed it to advanced. Put it in 0.8, 0.6. Good. For us to see exactly what is, I'm working up, the field, the general field, but if I come close now, you're going to see it, how it's looking. Okay. That's not bad at all. But this might be too much. Let me just leave it at 0.7. Okay. Right. So, yeah. Okay. All right. The viewing is done. It's just for us to cover up all these areas that we're having, openings. I'm going to select this now. Let's create another stuff. Okay, I'm going to add this. I'm going to add this. I'm going to add this. The display, I want it to be a box. So go to display. I'm going to change this into a proxy and a box. All right, so I'm going to come here in the transform, enable this, make this 120, 200. Then I'm going to go over to the distribution. Now the area, turn it off, use paint. We're going to add this only on the areas behind our camera. So let's go back to distribution and ensure that we open it up. Let's see what we're going to get. First of all, I'm going to save Ctrl S. Now let's see. Okay. It has been closed, as you can see. We're beginning to feel like forest. So it's time for me to bring in the car and the dining table, and then we can call it a day. All right, so I'm going to just bring in the vehicle. Hold on a minute. Okay. Now I'm going to raise it to the plane level. Okay. Not bad. Now the next thing I want to bring in is the outdoor sitting area, the one I'm going to keep in front of the building. So I'm going to use the same thing I used for the vehicle to raise it up to the floor. So I'm going to relink the bitmaps. Can click on relink bitmap to do that. Okay. These are the ones that are from the forest park. They always do that, but at the end of the day, still. So to be sure that what I just imported, I'm just going to convert the materials to Corona materials. Okay, so let's see what we are having. Okay, I'm going to do the render, interactive render. All right, so there you have it. All I'm going to do now is just to set up my scene for final render, and that's it. So to do that, I'm just going to open the render setup. Okay, I'm going to change my denoising to this. Come over here, change this to 10th. Okay, this is already okay. I'm going to leave it the way it is. Let me add this. And that's it. But before I go, there's one more thing I want us to add. I want us to add a little bit of fog around this surrounding. And to do that, I'm going to use tube for that. So I'm just going to start here. And what we need to do actually is we need to make this thing a little bit taller than the taller than the trees. Now the inner radius, I need to make that one bigger. Yeah, like that. So we need to increase this height to this point. Just like that. So what I want to do now is I want to bring out this thing and add Corona volume material to this tube I just created. So when I add it, you find out you're not seeing anything. But the moment I copy this to this, and then add a distance to this, let's say 500. Exactly. I'm beginning to see something. But then I'm going to add 800,000. 500 to 800,000 is okay. Because I want it to just be a little bit. I'm going to adjust the color. Just a little bit. Let me make it 700,000. Okay. That's fine. I don't want it to be, I just want it to be a little bit, just a little bit. Okay. I don't think I need this now. I'm just gonna remove it. Now I'm gonna add a vignette. Okay, yeah. So yeah, there you go. I've already done what I need to do. Now it's time for me to do the final render. So I'm just going to, I'm not going to add. Let me just make this 3. Okay. Yeah. So there you have it. You can decide to put curtain inside this house, but that's not important to me right now. What is important was to model this building and build this environment using Forest Park and RailClone. So that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give me a like. And if you're new to this channel, consider subscribing. Not only subscribing, ring the notification bell so you don't miss any of my future tutorials. Thank you very much for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.